Hey Kenny, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. And yourself?
Good, good. Welcome to the Destino. We're really happy to have you and to be able to share your
Thank you.
story.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I wanted to include you because you have such a different story and journey, and I've been able to see it like come to fruition. We've been together on a few projects now, like starting with How I Met Your Father, and we did Frasier. You went off and did 90s show, and we're about to start up Happy's Place season two.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you talk to us about first your name and your occupation, what you do?
Yeah. So Kenneth Carden, and right now I'm prop master assistant. And then basically what I do, typical day for me on set, I can get into that for you.
Yeah,
Right
please.
now, I'll come in the call time's like 7, 8 o'clock. I'll come in a half hour before that just because I like being early and I like being prepared. So I'll come in half hour early. I'll get the script. Say it's like a Wednesday, our for say rehearsal. I'll come in, grab the script from the office, come down to my office, and then I will start going through it scene by scene with the props in hand, written out, character by character, and just get the props on the cart, get the cart out the set. Typically, the prop master that I work for will have the props, already in the room. She would have gone shopping for them, a couple days prior. And so I'll grab those. And if they add anything to the script throughout the day, at the end of the day, I'll come back to the room with her, our assistant. We'll go over notes, talk about the episode, and she'll go out and get more shopping done if need be, or we'll just wait until the next script comes out and then go from there the following day.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on the number of people on your team. So there's the head of the department, and then there's typically an assistant, which is you now. And then I've noticed on a few other shows, depending on the workload, you guys bring in more assistants or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
how does
The
that happen?
background. Yeah, so like you said, the prop master assistant runs the department. Myself, prop master, oh sorry, the prop master runs the department, then prop master assistant is me. You have the
Uh-huh.
prop assistant, and that person is the one that like if we're on set, I'm the one running the set, so I'm the one working with the actors, typically I'm the director. If
Right.
the director or actor asks something that we don't have on the cart already, they'll run to the room or like in our kit somewhere and they'll grab it for me and bring it back.
Yeah.
And then, like you mentioned, like on a busier episode, like on during Frasier, we had like that gingerbread episode with, the whole entire village.
Yeah.
A lot of background that day. The hotel will hire like a additional staff member, and what they'll do is they will basically load luggage, or they'll make drinks for the background or
Mhm.
food, whatever may be needed, because there's so many people on set already. I'm dealing with first team, which are the main actors, Kelsey Grammer, Jack, Eve. So my hands are kind of full with them. And
Right.
then the additional help will have again like making extra drinks, loading luggage, whatever they may need to be doing to help the episode run smoothly.
Yeah, and that brings up a topic between how you and I collaborate on a show is that
Yeah.
if director or like one of the cast members decides that they want to be holding a prop that has like a graphic on it, or for example, on Happy's, it was the auction episode, and they wanted a specific number on their paddle. So we
Yes.
had to like fabricate that within minutes because we were gonna go on
5 minutes, yeah. It's a rush job, yeah. Like again, like that episode, it was a rewrite, and it happens a lot, as you know, on sitcoms. So like we'll have the prop ready to go on the day, but then like on the day they may say, you know what, instead of having it be, paddle 133, how about just 33? And
camera.
so we don't have that obviously in hand.
Hmm.
So we went up to your office and you're there, went to set, handed it off, and we were good to shoot. So that happens a lot. So being on your toes and props and for your job as well, just like in general senses, being on your feet in this industry is very key,
Right.
adapting quickly. Yeah.
And well, I know you on more of a personal level, so I was able to see how you figured out your role within the sitcom world. So, are you able to tell about your story about how you got started and how you jumped from
Yes.
set dressing to props and how you're liking that so far?
Yeah. So how I got started was back in 2020, when COVID was going on.
Hmm.
There was a listing on Indeed, funny enough, for a company called Real Health, REEL Health. And they had an ad posted saying, do you want to work in TV and film? I'm like, well, Hell yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So I applied, and then within the next day had like an interview like this on Zoom, got
Hmm.
the job. So my first job in the industry was actually in the COVID department, and I was basically a cleaner. So my job was to wipe down highly touched surface areas like tables, doorknobs, what have you. And I met the art department on my first show called Dad Stop Embarrassing Me, starring Jamie Foxx on Netflix at
Yeah.
Sunset Bronson, I think it was. And
Yeah.
so what I did that summer was I joined the art group on Facebook. I was told by the art department lead on that show to do so. He vouched for me on the website. I got hired as art PA, and that entire summer I was art PAing for different commercials. Met a production designer, took a liking to me, hired me for her show for Netflix again called Murderville. And so the last week of shooting, she wanted to help me get my days. And so to get your days, you need, at least for my union, I'm not sure about the other ones, you need at least 30.
Yeah.
And she
Which
had me
union is
promoted
that? What
to
number?
a local 44.
44.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So you need 30 days to join the union. And so I had zero. And so last week of shooting, I got promoted to a set dresser. And so I got 5 days there, which is awesome. And then kind of back forwarding to my COVID days, I had met the president of 600, which is camera department. Also took a liking to me, had reached out to me. They needed a second on-set dresser for his pilot for Showtime called Coercion. And so
Uh-huh.
I ended up getting 27 days on that show, which is great. And so I had 32 days in total, more than enough to join the union. So by November of 21, I think it was, I was able to join the union.
Hmm.
And then shortly after that, I got onto Perry Mason. Still as a COVID person, I wasn't on a team yet for set deck, but I had met the lead man on that show
Hmm.
and told him I had my days. So when they had a busy week, to reach out to me. I'd be happy to join. So what happened was I was going back and forth between set deck and COVID on Perry Mason for the second season, which was a lot of fun for me. Learned a
Yeah.
lot that season. How to do the job itself, being on the trucks, going to prop houses, picking up furniture, bringing them back, dressing them into the set. And then I met the person we both know, Quint. On that
Yeah.
show as well, and then so that led into me meeting Hugo basically. So met this lead man named Quint. He was leading How I Met Your Father, the first and second season.
Right.
So on the second season, that's where I met Hugo at. I was hired as set dresser to be on that show, which is great. And then that led me to meeting Jim Landis, who's my friend slash mentor on that show. He worked in props, and so what happened was him and I got to talking. He wanted me to transfer into props, but I wasn't sure about it. So after we wrapped up that second season of How I Met Your Father, I went
Yeah.
over to do day playing on Frasier, and
Right.
so I did both sit dressing and props on that show. I
Uh-huh.
did well on that show for props. They let go of their previous prop assistant. The strike happened. We came back after the strike, and I was full time doing props on that '90s show, the second season of Frasier, and now currently Happy's Place. So I've been on Hugo for like 4 years now,
Yeah, yeah,
half
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, it's been a while, right? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, and then fortunately we've just been landing on similar projects ever since.
yeah.
So that's been fun. But it's I'm glad that you touched on that. And then how do you like working with your team now? I know you're with Jules most of the time, and how does it flow in that team?
I love it. Jules is really good. She's really good about teaching me that side of my department because again, I came from set deck and like it's way different. Because like set deck, you go to the prop house, you're picking up furniture,
Mhm.
pictures, chairs, just random things dressing the set. And for
Right.
props, it's a whole new world. So like you're working alongside the actors and the directors, and so working with her, I got to learn how to like kind of present myself on set, how to like work with the actors and just be like how do I want to say? It's clearly a change of pace, but I'd say what she does really well for me is she walk me through the script, how to break it down, and being prepared is the most important thing I would say I've learned from her in props. Getting ahead of the script and make sure you have all the props you need for that episode already in hand so that you're on set, you don't look, silly like, oh, I didn't have time to grab it. Like being prepared is the most important thing I've learned from her in the department. But we get along great. She's a great mentor,
Mhm.
wonderful person. I'm lucky to have her as like my boss.
Well, but also you also mentor students or assistant prop masters that join the team. So I wanted to bring that up. What kind of stuff do you show them And what do you give them heads up on?
Similar things like I just mentioned. So in my Milan was someone we had in our training programs. It was a training program combined with Universal and our local 44
Uh-huh.
union. And so she came in. The thing I stressed to her was being on time. So going back to like your call time 7 o'clock in our
Yeah.
industry, at least in my department for sure,
Uh-huh.
do not be parking your car at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, you are like you're getting there at like 6:30 in the morning getting your coffee, getting your breakfast, using the restroom, whatever you need to do. So by 7 o'clock, you're on the job working, you know? So like
Right.
you being there minimum 10 minutes early is on time. So I told her that was very important to start with. And then again, going back to being prepared in props, put her to read the script thoroughly and then mark down for each scene, you know, what character, what prop they have in that scene
Mm,
and getting it on the cart and getting onto set, you know, ahead of time. So you're not pulling it out, rushing when they're already on set rehearsing. You want to always be there before the actor, before the director, at least again like 5 to 10 minutes on set. So that when they come in, they already see you there. So being attentive is also another thing I'd say is very important for props because on a Wednesday, say the first day of rehearsal, they have the script and the actors are more focused on their lines than anything else. They're not so
yeah.
focused on the prop itself, but you can watch them and then like we have a bar in Happy's Place and they might have in the script them pouring a glass of, you know, beer from the tap but it might make more
Yeah.
sense in that episode for that scene in particular to have them, you know, instead of having pouring a glass, maybe popping open a bottle or mixing a drink because their timing doesn't work out with that. You can see that firsthand. So being attentive and like, you know, being a what's the word? You know, it's a good like I'm sorry, just
All right.
basically being attentive and just, you know, making sure that you're on the day, you're giving it your all because they're gonna see that if you're not paying attention you're gonna like get let go. Honestly, a lot of people out there, I've been told, a lot of people that like be on their phones all day, not paying attention, and it's obvious, and they'll let them go. You know,
Yeah, because I mean, your role is very pivotal to being able to catch changes right away because you hear it firsthand when somebody makes a comment about, for example, we made flyers for one of the episode, and
yeah,
like you said, we have three different ones, so we always give them options. We always have different looks as far as like for the prop, like you give them every color. So yeah, I think that that's also really important that if it calls for an apple or something, you even include a peach there in case they decide that
never know. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, give them
no.
options. Another good point you made. Like with props, like hopefully like the prop in the scene, like if it's like a suppose a pen or like it's like a fruit, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
give them options. But like no more than three typically. You don't want to overwhelm them. But yeah,
Yeah.
give them the choice to choose something it also tells them that you care as well. You don't just like,
Mm.
throw out the first thing that came to mind. So that's important as well.
Yeah, and I think that really translates and it shows the professionalism on set because like you said, every time I see you, you're either making notes on your script or you're on set, like shifting things around or whatever you got to do. But yeah, I've never seen you distracted or socializing somewhere or whatever it is, you know?
On
So
it.
yeah, and I think that that was part of how you were able to get your opportunities and you were knocking on so many doors trying to figure out your path as well, but your work ethic really showed in every department that you kind of got involved in.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah.
But yeah, just to wrap things up, like what would you recommend yourself, or what would you tell yourself if you were to do this all over again?
You know, I was thinking about that when you mentioned it before too. Like, I would say just having this is like kind of a little off topic, but not at the same time having a side hustle because, like, as you know, in our industry, there's a lot of downtime. And like
Yeah.
right now I'm not working full time. So having a second gig to go to, I would say like a lot of people out here are like DJs on the side or like bartenders or do catering or something you can fall back onto when you're not working full time, you can make money still. So I'd say that's very important. I would tell myself, you know, ahead of time, like when you're not working, have somewhere to go where you can still be employed. I think it's
Mm,
very important. So because you will be on a show for like 6 months and that's great, but then you won't have anything for like 3 to 4, you know. So having something to fall back on is important. I think it would help me a lot on the job though, like coming up in this industry, working with actors, especially now, having jobs in the past where I was a host, I was a server, caterer, being attentive, being good with people is very key for props because
Yeah.
you're the person the actors have to trust. That's really
Right.
important. So you're the one handling their food, their drinks, their key items on that day. They have to know they can go to you for the question on the day with a live audience sometimes and like know that you're going to have that for them. So just having good people skills is very important, I'd say, overall.
Yeah.
Those are things that like, luckily I had prior to this job. And then again, like having jobs to fall back on, not so that the industry like again comes apart or whatever, but just to have something to go to when you're not working is very important. So just having jobs outside of the industries, it's key, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a really good one because not a lot of people touch on that topic, and it's really important to kind of keep you motivated as well. And like you said, just because it's not a job that has to do with the film industry, like clearly being, like you said, a server and having to pay attention, like you translate those skills that you gain outside, and then you bring them to your next gig.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, it's funny how in life things you go through, your experiences or circumstances can lead up to the jobs you have now and like how that prepares you for what you're currently doing. So it all worked out amazingly well. So I'm very grateful that my course throughout life has led me to this industry because I love being in props. I love
Yeah.
our sitcom world. It's just a lot of fun. Ruben McIntyre is a blast to be around, sweet lady. The cast is incredible. So we've been lucky, I think you and I, to be on really good shows, really good cast members and crews. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes a family in a sense. And so I think it's just knowing that you have that support around you and that love and just like that commitment to making the show or the episode that best episode it can possibly be, and then in turn it being the best show. It's a good feeling, that you had a hand in that, and it's just like I would recommend anyone that wants to be in our industry to know that it means a lot to people that are viewing it. I have friends back home, family members that love watching the shows I worked on. They get
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. So
Right.
knowing that you can you're part of the entertainment world means a lot to a lot of people out there, and then it's also special to you in a sense, and it's a good thing to be involved in overall, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely really rewarding to see your work out on the screen and to be
Yeah.
able to say that you were a part of such a great group. And like you said, we do spend a lot of time together and we're on set in that stage most of the time together. So, what would you say is like your hours?
So, again, for a sitcom on this show in particular, and Happy's Place, we rehearse Wednesday through Friday, 10-hour days. You're typically out by like 2:30 though. So if I come in at 7, I'm done by 2:30. So shorter days through rehearsal days, not very long. You just kind of get again the actors are more focused on like their blocking, getting their lines down. So you don't need a whole 10 hours for that typically. So
Mhm.
shorter days, Wednesday through Friday, which is nice. You get to have a life. You get to go to the gym, go grocery shopping, go to the movies, whatever you want to do for fun. It's cool. But then on a Monday and Tuesday for sitcoms, usually when we start shooting. So on a Monday, it might be a full 10-hour day because you're there at like 9 a.m. Cameras up. You're shooting by 11 typically, and you're out the door by like 6:37 on a long day, I'd say. And then on a Tuesday, you get the live audience, which is amazing. The energy in the room is so lively. It's like doing a play, It's a lot of applause, a lot of screaming, a lot of laughs. It's just like it makes you really enjoy and appreciate being on set because like it's their first time ever seeing the show. People fly in from all around the world, which is awesome to see that from Australia, from like the US, like in wherever they may be coming from. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the first time seeing a live show like that, and they're just like over the moon to see it. So like you're not obviously one of the actors on set performing for them, but you are part of the entertainment that
Oh.
day, which is a lot of fun. So going back to the hours on a Tuesday night live audience, it's a little longer of a day. You get there usually around 9 a.m. still. You rehearse these scenes you hadn't shot the day before, and then
Mm-hmm.
you go on a break for like 3 hours. You come back for the show, which starts at 6 p.m. And the show usually wraps up. Like last scene is usually like 9 o'clock. So you're out the door after cleaned up with props by like 11. So longer day on Tuesday, but it's only one long day,
Yeah.
typically. But that's sitcom world for single cam. You're typically there for 12 hours minimum every day. And as you know, I'm sure you worked on single cam before. Your call time on a Monday will be like 7 o'clock. You're done by like 5. The next day it's like 8 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock. Then by Friday it's like a noon, 2 o'clock call time. You're doing like a overnight shoot. So it's
Yeah.
different for every type of world, but it's fun regardless.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any inspiring words before we take off here?
Inspiring words. Oh, put me on the spot with that one.
For those who want to join us on set one day or that are thinking about working in TV and film.
Maybe not so much inspiring, but I'd say knowledge on this one. So I didn't know when I got into the business how many different departments there were. You
Yeah.
have, camera, art department, set deck, hair, makeup, costumes, obviously directing, camera, like I said, and acting. So I would think going ahead, know what your interests are, what your skills are, and then look into those things, ask around. Again, there are different groups on Facebook you can join and you can learn from them. You can always reach out to Hugo or I. I'm sure you have information you can pass along to anyone that is curious more, wants
Yeah.
to talk about props in more detail. I'm happy to, talk to them about that. But knowing ahead of time what you may want to do will help out a lot because that will inspire you to work harder at it or get like a taste for it. If you like want to do camera work, get a camera, use your phone, start shooting your own shorts. If you like
Yeah.
writing, write your own shorts. If you like art department, I'd say the most you can do art department really is being a creative person. Just I don't know, it's just working with
Or
your
you
hands a lot.
build your portfolio. You just start
Yeah, really
doing.
that kind of stuff, that would help you again be more inspired to do bigger and better things as the years come and the opportunities, open up to you. So those are the things I would say are very important. Don't just hop in the industry and you can kind of figure out on the day once you're in, but it would
Yeah.
help you out a lot in planning if you knew what you wanted to do ahead of time. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and that's the intention for this conversation. And thank you
Yeah.
for covering the prop department.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kenny. Enjoy your
All
weekend.
right,
Okay,
man.
I'll talk to you soon.
You as well, bro. Take care.
All right, bye.
Later.